Hello guys, welcome to Oliveboard. I'm your quant faculty Priyanka here. So as guys we know, percentage is really important topic for our exam. Now for your exam, it is not that you're just going to get the direct question from percentage. Whatever concepts you are going to learn in this particular topic will be useful in other topics as well. So let me take example. Suppose if I give you about speed time, and if I give you that speed of a bus is increased by 20%, or if I tell you the distance is decreased by 20%, that means again you are needing this concept of a percentage over here. Okay, so really important topic for your exam, considering the point that the concept which you are learning will be indirectly used in other topic, and along with that you are also going to get individual questions in this. And I think many of you are already aware, in case of your data interpretation also, minimum 2 to 3 questions will be related to either percentage or percentage increase, percentage decrease. So I would like to tell you that the weightage of this topic will be minimum 6 to 7 marks. Okay, so direct questions would be there, indirect questions would be there, so a lot of weightage is there to percentage topic over here. So let us learn few of the basics. Now if any one of you is beginner, definitely trust me, you are going to enjoy this session like anything, because I am going to start with the basic definition of percentage. What is the basic meaning of percentage? Then how you have to convert any value into percentage, how percentage values are converted into fraction. So right from the percentage definition, we are going to cover all the types of questions that are asked in your exam. So let us begin this topic over here. So first of all, as I had already told you, the weightage of this topic is 2 to 3 marks over here. DI also 1 or 2 questions would be there. And for this, recalling percentage table. So here I will also tell you which all are the fractions which are very frequently asked in your exam. Now first of all, you have to understand what is percentage table. I'll definitely explain you in the upcoming slides, so just wait. So that table you have to recall for sure. Okay, so once you are done with this topic, what you have to do is paste the table wherever you are studying. Every day you have to recall those tables, because every topic you are going to need this percentage to fraction conversion. And there is one more important topic, that is nothing but a multiplication factor topic over here. Okay, so I am going to explain you what is the multiplication factor, how you have to calculate the multiplication factor over here. And you can also apply the simplification and approximation technique which you have already learned regarding the multiplication, single cancellation method, 2 cross 2 digit method. So all those multiplication techniques can also be used in this particular topic over here. Okay, now what are things I am going to cover in this particular session over here? So we are going to discuss these topics, that is nothing but the percentage to fraction conversion. Okay, now in percentage to fraction conversion, I'll tell you which all are the important fractions. After that, we will discuss a very important rule, that is nothing but of than rule over here. So there are few terms like this is of what percentage of that, okay, or this value is how much percent more than this value. So whenever you are getting these type of concept, that is of than rule, how you have to convert that particular statement into equation format will be discussed over here. Third, we are going to learn about the multiplication factor over here. Okay, so percentage increase, percentage decrease, how we are going to calculate the multiplication factor. Okay, then we will cover few of the questions. Now, which all types of questions are generally asked in your banking exam? So first one is fraction based questions are very frequently asked. Then the use of allegation in percentage. So I am going to tell you about those type of questions as well. Then we will discuss income expenditure based question. Then we will also discuss price based question over here, how the percentage increase in price or reduction, how it is done in the calculation part. Okay, and then we have election based questions which are frequently asked in your exam, and population based question. So I have already told you which all are the types and what all things we are going to start in this. So let us begin this topic with the definition of a percentage over here. Okay, now let me give you simple example over here. Suppose if I give you, there is person A, he is scoring 25 marks out of 50 marks over here, and there is suppose person B, he is getting suppose he is getting 10 marks. I would say suppose he is getting 45 marks out of 75. Okay, let me give you this value. Now if I ask you who performed well, okay, now you cannot say that this is 25 ma'am, this is 45, so B has performed more. No, this is absolutely wrong. Why? Because he has performed out of 50 marks, he has performed out of 75 marks. So I need to convert both of them into same reference point over here. Are you getting it? So creating this reference is done by the percentage. Okay, now what is the meaning of percentage here? When we talk about the percentage, it is per cent. Per means with respect to, cent means 100. With respect to 100, you are calculating every value, that is nothing but your percentage value over here. Are you getting my point? Now when I am saying A is getting 25 marks out of 50, how will I calculate the percentage? 25 divided by 50 multiplied by 100, which is nothing but he scored 50% marks over here. Okay, now let us talk about B. So B has performed 45 marks out of 75. Let us multiply this by 100. 25 3s are, 25 4s are. This is 15 over here. That means he has got 60% mark. Now you can definitely say B has performed better than A over here, because both of their reference is same, which is nothing but a 100% value. Are you getting my point? So whichever value you are calculating with respect to 100 is called as a percentage value over here. Okay, and indirectly I have also told you here how to calculate the percentage. Whatever value is given, you have to multiply that value by 100 value. That will give you the value corresponding to percentage. I hope it is clear. Okay, so I can give you any value over here. For example, suppose if I give you, there is student A, he has scored, there are 3 subjects over here. There is maths, there is English and there is science over here. Suppose you are given with, he has scored 25 out of 50 marks in maths. Okay, if in English he has scored, suppose out of 75 he has scored 50 marks, and in science he has scored out of 25, if I give you, he has scored 15 marks over here. Are you getting it? Now if I ask you what is the total percentage obtained by the student. So how we calculate the percentage? You have to write down total marks scored upon total marks over here. How much is his score and how much is the total marks of the paper multiplied by 100. Are you getting my point? So can you help me to quickly calculate this value over here? Yes, so what will you get from this? 50 plus 25, 75 plus this, that is nothing but 90 divided by, if you are calculating this value, it is 150 multiplied by 100. So if I am talking about this, it is 2s are, 3s are, you are going to get the percentage of student is nothing but 60% over here. Are you guys following it? So this is the basic definition of percentage, and this is how we calculate any percentage value over here. Okay, now let us move on to the next concept over here, that is nothing but percentage to fraction. Okay, now you will ask me, ma'am, what is the need to convert percentage into fraction over here? Now I will give you simple example in this case. You can just pay attention now. Suppose if I am talking about the value, suppose if I give you 144 multiplied by 8.33 percentage, what is the value? If I ask you this value over here, now what will happen if you do not know this fraction value? What will you do? You have to take this 3 digit, cross this 3 digit and put this decimal over here after 2 points. You are going to get lot of time to calculate this. Are you getting it? Now can we refer to the table here? Can you just observe here? 8.33 percentage means, when I am talking about this value, 8.33 is 1 by 12. In oral, or you can imagine this in your mind itself, you can write 1 by 12 for this. So this value would be equal to 144 into 12, that is nothing but 12 would be your answer. Are you guys getting my point? So you can see, once you know this percentage to fraction, how easy it has become for you to tell me this value. Are you getting it? So always it is not necessary that using the percentage value you are going to get answer. So what will make your calculation easy is this percentage to fraction table, and this table is really important because whatever fractions I have written in this table over here are very frequently asked in your exam. Based on that itself I have written this table. Are you getting my point? Now so I would like to tell you how these values are related over here. For example, 1 by 1. So when I am talking about 1 by 1, you are converting it into percentage. So you have to multiply this by 100. So you will get this as 100%. Similarly, when you are multiplying this by 100, it will become 50%. Are you getting it? And when you are converting back, when you are going in the backward direction, this will become 50 by 100, or I can say 1 by 2. Okay, that means when you are converting your fractional value into percentage, when you are converting your fraction value into percentage, you have to multiply by the 100 over here. Are you getting it? And when you are going reverse, that is percentage value you are converting into fraction, you have to divide by 100 over here. Are you getting my point? Everybody is getting my point over here. So simple concept, how to convert fractional value into percentage value over here. I hope it is clear. Now to remember this table, I would like to give you few tricks over here how to recall this table. Okay, now if you observe 1 by 2 percentage is 50%. Now what you can do is 1 by 2 is 50%, 1 by 4, that is just half of this will become half of this. Again you can remember half of this, that is 1 by 8, it is 12.5. Again half of 1 by 8, that is nothing but 1 by 16, which is 6.25 percentage over here. Are you getting it? So in same table I am recalling 4 value over here, 1 by 2, 1 by 4, 1 by 8 and 1 by 16 over here. Are you guys getting my point? So these 4 values you can remember in this manner. Similarly, let us talk about 1 by 6. Now if I am talking about 1 by 6, it is 16.67%, and when you are talking here 6.67, they are almost related. So here instead of 16.67, you have 6.67 over here. Okay, so likewise you can remember these two fractions, 1 by 6, 1 by 15. Similarly, there is one more trick for 1 by 9 and 1 by 11. When I am talking about 1 by 9, it is 11.11%. When I am talking about 1 by 11, it is 9.09. That means this 9 and 11 values are interchanged over here. Are you guys following my point? Okay, so these are few tricks, and one more important trick is related to 7. When you are observing 1 by 7, it is 7 table, 14.7. So 14 is there in 7 table, 7 is also there. Likewise for 1 by 14 also it is 7 table, that is 7.14. Are you guys getting my point? So these 7 values are percentage values corresponding to the table of 7 itself. So you can recall it this manner. You can develop your own shortcuts to recall this table over here. Okay, now let us talk about the next point over here. Now you may ask me that, ma'am, is this the only percentage that we have to recall? So aren't we going to get any other new percentage in the exam? Yes, definitely it is possible that other than this given percentage also you may get some other fractions as well. Okay, for example, you can pay attention. Suppose if I am giving you 83.33%. Can you just check out the table and tell me whether it is present or not present? Yes, so definitely it is not present in your table. Now, though it is not present in the table, I can form this using the percentage present in my table over here. Okay, how will you do that? Now, I can write this value as 50% plus 33.33%. That is nothing but in the addition format I am writing this. Okay, second way to do this is in the subtraction format, that is 100% minus 16.67%. Are you getting it? So either you can write any fraction as a sum value over here, or you can write it as a subtraction value, or third way is you can also write this as 8.33% into 10, that is in the multiplication format over here. Are you guys getting my point? So I have written it in 3 formats. One is addition, second one is subtraction, and third one is nothing but a multiplication format over here. I hope all of you are getting it. Now what about this? If you are converting 50%, it will become 1 by 2. 33.33% is 1 by 3. So if I am writing this is nothing but 5 by 6 fraction. Okay, let me talk about this value, 100% and 16.67. 100% is 1, 16.67 is 1 by 6. So again I am going to get 5 by 6 over here. Are you guys getting it? And what about 8.33%? 8.33% is 1 by 12. You have to multiply this by 10. So this will become 5 by 6 again. Are you getting my point? So what I want to tell, any way you go about this, you are going to end up in a same value, that is nothing but 8.33% over here. I hope everybody is following it. Okay, so even if the percentage which you know is not present in the table, you can definitely compose it provided that you have recalled this particular table really thoroughly. Okay, if you are not thorough with this table, you may not get the value. And especially what is important in this table is the last digit over here. So if you are getting 8, you can look for 1 by 17. If you are getting suppose 2, 6, you will understand it is nothing but 1 by 19 over here. So for our practice, we will solve few of the fractions over here. Okay, now we have 66.66%. Now you can see here 33.33% is present. So easily I can say it is nothing but 2 into 33.33, or I can say that it is 2 by 3 over here. Are you getting it? How will you compose this fraction over here? It is 500% plus 83 by 1 by 3 percentage over here. Okay, now you know 500% is nothing but 5. What about 83.33 percentage? Just now we have composed it. 83.33 is nothing but 5 by 6. So it is 5 plus 5 by 6, or I can say it is 35 by 6 percentage over here. Are you guys getting my point? So this is how you have to calculate the value. Let us talk about 44.44. This can be written as 4 into 11.11%. Now we know that 11.11 is 1 by 9. So this will become 4 by 9 over here. Are you getting it? What about 15%? It is 10% plus 5%. So you can write down both of the values. What about 42.21? Now this is very interesting. 42.21. How will you compose this? Can you observe this? If I multiply this value by 3, I am going to get my value as 14.21. Are you getting it? If I am multiplying this by 3 over here, I am going to get my value as, you can calculate the value. I think approximately, yes, you can just check out which fraction you can compose using this. Otherwise, you can split this. Okay, you can also write this as 40% plus 2.21 percentage. Actually, I wanted to tell approximations also in this. So, whenever you have approximate value, you can also take it as 2% over here rather than taking the exact value. Okay, so those fractions which you cannot compose, you can also take them as an approximate value. Similarly, for this, you can write down 300% plus 87.5 percentage, and this one is again easy. You can write this as 7 into 9.09%. Now, we know that this is 1 by 11, so you can compose this percentage to fraction over here. I hope it is clear how we are converting the percentage value into fractional value. Now there are a few concepts which will appear again and again in your question paper. That is nothing but X percentage of Y. For example, suppose if I give you 542. Okay, if I give you 542 percentage of, suppose if I give you 50. Okay, 542 percentage of 50. Now you know that 542% it is practically not able to, will not be able to convert this into fractional format. So what you can do is you can take this percentage value over here. Are you getting it? So you can also write this as 542 of 50%. Now you obviously know 50% is 1 by 2. So easily you will be able to convert this value into the integer format. Are you guys getting my point? So like this, if you know this rule where you can shift your percentage value, you will be definitely able to calculate your value very easily in this case. Are you getting my point? Now let us talk about this value also. Suppose if I give you 3.75 percentage of, suppose if I give you 3.75 percentage of 64. Okay, now you know that 3.75 percentage is not there. So what I can write here is 37.5 percentage. That means I have multiplied this by 10. So you have to also divide this by 10. Are you getting my point? Now you already know about this fraction. 37.5 is nothing but 3 by 8 fraction. So easily you can convert this over here. So these two booster points you may need while you are calculating the values over here. So these few tips are important for your calculation part. Even in your simplification topic, you are going to have question based on percentage. So where you can use these tricks which I have just now told you. Okay, now let us move on to the next question. Yes, so I have taken few questions based on the similar concept over here. You can try these questions as a homework. So here 720% is not known. Let me convert it here. Okay, so when you are taking it on the other side, that is nothing but 5 by 8. So 720 into 5 by 8 would be the value. Are you getting my point? Similarly, 17.5% is given. So I can take this decimal over here. So I can write this as 175% of 168. Now you know this value. So easily you can calculate the value over here. Are you getting it? Now what about this? It is 28,450, 45,280 over here. You can observe percentage part I can shift. Other value is same. So I can also write this as 2 into 450 percentage into 28. Are you getting it? Now 450 percentage is easy to calculate. So easily you can calculate the value over here. Okay, so you can try these values as a homework. This you can write it as 200% plus 83.33 percentage. You know the percentage to fraction conversion. You can convert them and calculate this value over here. and you have to subtract 87.5. Now you know that this can be written as 12.5 over here. 1 minus 12.5 or 100 minus 12.5 percentage. Okay, so you can calculate the value according to that value and calculate this exercise. Are you getting it? So whatever things I have told you, you just have to apply it in this particular exercise to calculate the answer. Are you getting my point? So all of you can just try it as a homework. If you are not getting, definitely you can try to revise your basics and again try these questions over here. So these are few basics, guys. Now let us talk about the next important rule related to percentage. That is nothing but of than rule over here. Okay, now this particular rule is multiple times used in your data interpretation also. So I want all of you to learn this rule really well. Okay, now what is given in your question? They are talking about, suppose there are two numbers over here. Okay, so they have provided you two numbers. First number is nothing but 36. Second number is nothing but 48 over here. Now what is said over here? 83.33% of first number is what percent more than 91.66% of the second number over here. And similarly here they are talking about the less than value. So here whenever we are solving these type of question, let us first learn few of the commonly used terms in case of the percentage. Okay, then we will move on to that question. So whenever you are solving any question related to percentage, these are some terms which will appear again and again in your exam. So let us learn few of the formulae corresponding to this. Now when I say x percentage of y, it is nothing but x by 100 multiplied by y. So whenever you have of value, you have to always multiply it by y value. Let us take simple example over here. Suppose if I say 20% of 200. You know that 20% is 1 by 5. So this will become 1 by 5 into 200, or you are going to get 40 as the value. Are you clear with this? I think this term we use very frequently and very commonly. So everyone must be aware about it. Okay, now let us talk about the second one. Second one is the important part. X is what percentage of y? Suppose if I give you 20 is what percentage of 60? Okay, what percentage of means what you have to do? X out of y. Okay, how you have to read is x out of y. That means x is taken out of y, and I am talking about percentage. So you have to calculate the percent over here. Are you getting my point? For example, 20 is what percentage of 60? So 20 is taken out of 60, and now you have to calculate the percentage. Okay, very basic terminologies, but they will appear very very frequently in your data interpretation, and I have seen many students really make silly mistakes in this. So let us put it in an organized manner in single slide over here. Okay, now let us talk about the next part. X is what percent more than y over here? For example, suppose if I give you 12 is what percent more than 10? Okay, now first of all, when I am saying x is what percent more, means I know that x is more than y. First thing I know is x is more than y over here. So how much more? X minus y. Are you getting it? And this is what I was talking about in of than rule. Whatever is written after than. Okay, according to of than rule, whatever is written after than will always be your denominator. Okay, so never make confusion. So in this case, whatever is written after than is going to be your denominator. So when I am saying more than y, y would be my denominator. I am going to write 100 over here. Are you getting my point? Let us discuss the second one now. Y is what percentage lesser than x? Means can I say that y is lesser than x? Are you getting it? Y value is lesser than x value. So how much would be the lesser value? X minus y. Because y is less, so I have written x minus y. You can write down y minus x also, but that value would be negative because y is lesser over here. Now as I told you, less than x, that means x will be my denominator. Are you getting my point? So this than part is really important, especially when you are using this of than rule over here. So these are some 4 statements which are very frequently asked in your exam over there. I hope everybody is clear with this. Now let us solve one question so that it will become more clear to you. So we were solving this question over here. Now you know that 83.33%. What is this fraction? 5 by 6. So can we calculate 5 by 6 of 36 here? This would be equal to 30. Okay, which is the second number? 48 is the second number. 91.66%. Can we write this as 100 minus 8.33 percentage? Or this is 1 minus 1 by 12. Okay, 1 minus 1 by 12, that is nothing but 11 by 12 over here. So I can calculate 11 by 12 percentage of 48. So what would be the value? 44. Now what is said in your question over here? This percentage is what percent more? Is it more or is it less? Yes, it is lesser over here. So when they are saying this, they will give you oblique less also. I forgot to mention it over here. Okay, now what is said? 83.33% is what percent more or less than this value over here. Now it is less over here. By how much value it is less? It is 44 minus 30 less. Are you getting it? It is lesser by 14 value. Less than second number. Less than 44 over here. So this would be my denominator. This is how you have to calculate this value. Are you guys getting my point? Okay, similarly here they have given 91.66%. Again it is more or less over here. So 91.66%, that is this value, which is 44. It is how much percent more or less than 30 over here. Okay, so how much it is more over here? It is more by 14, more than this value. So this would be your denominator. I hope the of than rule must be clear. So whatever comes after than will always be your denominator. So never make mistake in this. You know, in exam what happens is, many students solve the question. Sometimes your answer will not match with your option. Now at that time you will have such type of doubt that ma'am, whether this should be the denominator or other should be the denominator. Now what happens is, in banking, main point is about time. Okay, and if you are stuck in such smaller points, definitely you are going to lose it, guys. So that is the reason I am telling you small points, but these are very crucial for your selection in the exam. I hope it is clear. So just remember this of than rule. Whatever comes after than will be your denominator. So let us solve one question based on this. So what is given over here? Ram's salary is 20% less than Sham's salary over here. So whatever is than after than will be your reference. So Sham's salary is suppose 100x. Are you getting it? So whatever is written after than will be your reference value. Suppose it is 100x. Now they have given Ram's salary is 20% less. Now if Ram's salary is 20% less, that means it will become 80x over here. Now what is your question? By what percentage Sham's salary is more than Ram? Now obviously Sham is more than Ram. I can see it here. By how much value it is more? It is more by 20x. Okay, and as I told you, more than Ram means Ram will be your denominator. Ram value will be your denominator. So easily you can observe here, this is going to be 1 by 4 into 100%, or I can say 25% more over here. Are you guys getting my point? 25% more would be your value in this case. I hope everybody is following it. So whenever you are talking about these questions over here, these pattern question, this is what you have to remember, that which value will be denominator and how you are going to calculate the value over here. Okay, now we are done with this question. Let us move on to the next concept now. That is nothing but a concept of multiplication factor. Okay, really important concept, guys. Based on this concept, you will never lose any marks in the percentage. So I want all of you to first understand this concept of multiplication factor over here. Okay, now whenever, suppose if I am giving you question like this, student has scored 120 marks in the first exam. If he scored 30% more marks in the next exam, what is his new score now? Okay, so you have to calculate what is his score now. Now generally how we go about these questions over here, we take 120 marks in the first exam. Now he has scored 30% more, means original was 120. Now he has scored 30% above this. Now we take 120 common, inside bracket we write 1 here and then 30% here. Now we multiply this by 1.3 and calculate our answer. Are you getting it? Now we are not going to write so many steps while calculating these values. Okay, so what are we going to do from now on? You have to remember, whenever you are getting this type of concept, that is 30% more, please remember that the original value, okay, the original value here is always 100% value. I am adding 30% above that. That means I am going to get 130% as the value. Are you getting my point over here? So your original value is 100%. Above that I am saying 30%. So I am going to get 130% as the multiplication factor. Okay, so let us talk about few more multiplication factors so that it will become clear into your mind. Suppose if I give you 20% increase, what will be the multiplication factor? Original 100, above that 20, it will become 120%. If I give you 50% increase, it will become 150%. What if I give you 110% increase? I am talking about 110% increase or more. So it will be equal to 210%. That means you have to add 100 over here. Are you getting my point? Suppose if I give you 30% less. Are you getting it? Now I am not saying more. I am talking about 30% less value over here. So original value is 100%. 30% below that means it is going to become 100 minus 30, or I can say 70% over here. Similarly, if I say 80% less, that means it will become 100 minus 80, or I can say 20% would be the multiplication factor. Are you guys getting my point? So I hope it is clear how to calculate the multiplication factor. So whenever you are talking about increase or more value, you have to add your percentage with the 100%. Whenever you are talking about decrease or less value over here, you have to subtract that value from 100% over here. Are you getting my point? This is how you are going to calculate your multiplication factor. I hope everybody is clear with this. Now next important point is, you will ask me, ma'am, okay fine, we have calculated the multiplication factor. What next? Okay, what should we do with this multiplication factor over here? So whenever you have calculated the multiplication factor, you have to always remember, here it is initial value. Here I am going to write down the multiplication factor and this would be my final value. Okay, so this is nothing but an arrow diagram corresponding to your percentage. Okay, now this arrow diagram will be useful for your profit and loss, for your discount mark price. So I want all of you to remember this diagram over here. Okay, now many books will give you formula like this. Percentage increase is given by final minus initial upon initial into 100. Many of you might have seen those formulae. Once you understand this, arrow diagram, you need not remember all these formulae over here. Are you guys getting my point? You need not recall them at all. Okay, so what you have to do is just write down the values over here. For example, here they have given you 120 marks in the first exam. That means initial value is 120. Now, as I told you, 30% more. That means this will become 130%, or I can also write this as 1.3. So simply you have to calculate the value over here. That is nothing but 156. So 156 would be your final score. Are you guys getting it? 156 would be his final score over here. Now let us solve one more question. Student scored 260 marks in the second exam, which is 30% more than the first exam over here. That means initial value is not known. Initial value is not known now. Final value is given to you 260. What would be the multiplication factor? Multiplication factor will just depend on this more or less, guys. Okay, it does not depend on whether it is first value or whether it is the final value. It is initial value or final value. Your multiplication factor will not depend on that. Okay, it will just depend on the one factor, that is whether it is percentage more or whether it is percentage less over here. Okay, now here they are talking about the final value. My multiplication factor would be 30% more, means 1.3. Now can any one of you tell me how will you calculate the initial value over here? Okay, now many students will say, ma'am, subtract 260 minus some percentage. No. Okay, it is never subtraction over here. Whenever you are going reverse in the arrow diagram, you have to divide by this multiplication factor. Please remember this. whenever you are going reverse in the arrow diagram, you have to always divide by this multiplication factor over here. So what would be your value? This will become 260 divided by 1.3. That means their original value must be 200 over here. Their original score must be 200 over here. Are you guys following my point? So this is how you have to calculate the value of multiplication factor, and this is how you have to relate it in your particular question. I hope the concept is clear now. The first important concept is how to calculate the multiplication factor, and second important point is when you are given with initial value and you are going forward, you have to multiply. When you are going backward, you have to divide by that multiplication factor over here. Okay, I hope the concept is clear. Now let us move on to few of the questions so that it will become more clear to you. Now what is given in your question? If 16 2/3% of a number is added to itself, then number becomes 23,800. Find the original number over here. Now let us solve this question. You know that 16 2/3%. Okay, so when we are talking about this, it is nothing but 1/6. This fraction is nothing but 1/6 over here. Now whenever you are given with this number is added to itself, okay, if this value is added to number itself, the number becomes this value over here. So whatever is this denominator will be your original number. Okay, whenever you want to solve by the short trick, which is nothing but a ratio method, you have to always take this as a original number over here. Okay, now this is your original number and this is your increased value. Are you getting my point? This is your original number, this is your increased value. Now what is given in your question? This percentage. So my original number is 6x. What I am saying, 16 2/3% of 6x. So if you are calculating this value over here, it will become x. So what would be your new number now? 7x. Your number is becoming 7x. So can I say that 7x is 23,800? Are you getting it? So you will get your x value as 7 3s are 21, 7 4s are and 0 0. So once x value is known, I can calculate the original number very easily. 3400 into 6. Are you getting my point? That is nothing but 20,400 would be the number. Are you guys following my point over here? So whenever you have to calculate questions like this, please remember this ratio method will really make it easy. Okay, now you can always follow the basic method for this. Okay, now few of you must be confused, ma'am, why not basic method? Definitely you can apply basic method also. How will you apply the basic method? Let me try to tell you basic method as well. So original number is suppose 100x. Now they are saying 16.66% of this. So you have to write down 16.66% of 100x. And then you have to write the number becomes 23,800. You can apply this method also. So 100x you can take common. This is nothing but 1/6. So this will become 7/6 and you can calculate your value. You can follow this method also. But when you are using short trick like this, that is nothing but a ratio method, you can do these type of questions literally orally, guys. Okay, so I want all of you to learn this short trick as well. That is nothing but a ratio method where denominator will give you your original value. So this is your original value. This is increasing amount. How much is the increment over here? That is shown by 1 unit. So what would be your final number? 6 plus 1, 7 units will be your final number, which is nothing but 23,800. So easily you can calculate what would be the original number over here. I hope it is clear. Okay, now let us see new types of questions that are generally asked based on this percentage increase, percentage decrease topic over here. Okay, so especially in case of your mensuration. Okay, so combination of mensuration plus this type of percentage questions are asked in your exam. So what is given over here? Length of a cuboid is increased by 10%, width is increased by 20% and height is increased by 30%. Find the percentage change in its volume over here. Now you know that first of all you have to write is the formula corresponding to volume. What is the formula corresponding to volume? LBH over here. Okay, now you can solve this by two methods over here. First of all, you can write down with respect to 100 values. Okay, so suppose length is 100x, it is increased by 10%, so it will become, your multiplication factor will be 110%, so it will become 110x over here. Are you getting it? Height is increased by, width is increased by 20%. Suppose width is also 100x, it is increased by 20%, 120% would be the multiplication factor, so this will become 120x, and height is increased by 30%. So when you are talking about height and increment of 30%, that means 130% would be the multiplication factor. You can write down this value as 130x. Are you getting my point? Now you can multiply because you have LBH as the formula and calculate the increase over here. Okay, so this is the basic method to calculate this. Okay, now let me tell you the short trick, that is nothing but a ratio method over here. Okay, using ratio method, these type of question becomes really easy. So let us learn ratio method over here. Now 1 by 10 is written as plus 1 by 10. Why plus? Because it is increased. Similarly, this is also increased by 20% plus 1 by 5. Height is also increased by this value, so it is plus 3 by 10 over here. Are you getting it? So how will you write your length value? Original value is 10. It is increased by 1, so it will become 11 here. Are you getting my point? What about width, that is breadth value? Original value is 5 over here. It is increased by 1, so it will become 6. And last value is your height value. Original value is 10. It is increased by 3, so it will become 13 over here. So what is the formula? LBH is the formula. Now easily I can multiply these values. So what will you get from this? This is 100, 5s are 500, and you can calculate the value over here. This is 78. You must be aware about the shortcut to multiply by 11. We write this value as it is and add the adjacent values over here. So 8 plus 7, 15. 7 ones are 7 and 1 8. So 858 would be the value. So how much is the increase over here? 358 is the increase. I have to calculate the percentage. So 358 divided by 5. That means 5 7s are 5 1s and 5 6s are 71.6% increase is there. Are you getting my point? So these type of questions are very frequently asked in your exam based on the mensuration over here. So this is how you have to remember. You can use a ratio method shortcut to calculate these values. I hope it is clear. Now let us talk about the second question. Now second question is actually homework for all of you, but I am going to give you very important concept over here. Now they are talking about height of a cylinder. It is decreased by 20%. Okay, so they are talking about height of a cylinder. Decreased by 20% means 1 by 5. Radius is increased by 10% means plus 1 by 10. Now what is asked over here? Percentage change in the volume and surface area. Let us talk about volume itself. Surface area you can try as a homework. Now when you are talking about a volume, you must be aware the formula for cylinder volume is pi r square h. Now whenever you are talking about the increase in volume, this constant term you have to always eliminate from the formula, because constant is not going to increase or change, only variables will change over here. Are you getting my point? Now they are saying r square. So as I told you, the radius value is increased by 1 over here, so this will become 10:11. Now as it is r square h, you have to again write down r value over here. And what about height in this case? Original height is 5, it is reduced by 1, so it became 4. Are you getting it? So this is what I wanted to explain you. You can write it like this, r square into h, and now you can calculate what is the effective change over here. I hope the concept is clear to all of you. So you can try this question as a homework and also calculate the value corresponding to surface area also in this. Okay, so these type of questions based on the mensuration are very commonly asked in your exam. Now let us talk about the frequently asked questions from this topic over here. So first question based on the multiplication factor is written over here. So how will you go about this? Now you can take your time to solve the question and then you can watch the solution over here. Okay, so how will you go about this? Now here it is said that salary of a Smita was increased by 20% at the end of first year, and then it is reduced by 15% at the second year. As a result, her salary is 17,595 over here. So that means this value is nothing but a final value in this case. Okay, so please remember, first you have to calculate whether it is initial or final value. Now let us talk about the multiplication factor. It is increased by 20%. So what would be your multiplication factor? 120% would be your multiplication factor. Then it is reduced by 15% over here. Reduced by 15% means 85% would be your multiplication factor. Are you getting it? And her salary is becoming 17,595. Are you getting it? And as now you are going back over here, we are going to divide by this multiplication factor. Are you guys getting my point? Now you can also write this fractional as a percent. You can also write these percentages as a fractional value. So this will become 6 by 5. Are you getting it? And you can write this as 17 by 20 over here. So what will you get from this? This will be written as 17,595 divided by 6 by 5 and 17 by 20 over here. Are you guys getting my point? So once you are writing these values over here, it is only about the calculation to calculate all these values. So how will you calculate this value now? So easily you can see, just do the calculation part and you can verify what would be the answer over here. So I think 17,250 would be the value in this case. If you are doing this calculation, 17,250 will be the answer. So like this you may get questions in your pre-exam, okay, based on this similar pattern over here. Let us now move on to the next part over here based on the population. So as I said, very frequently the questions based on population has also been asked in your exam, where this concept of multiplication factor will really help you out. So what is given in your question? The population of a city is 40,000. First year it is increased by 20%. Second year also it is increased by 10%. Find the percentage increase in overall population compared to the original value over here. So this is your pre-level previous year question over here. So what is given? The initial value is 40,000. Okay, initial value is 40,000. It is increased by 20%. So this value is 20% increase. And 20% increase means what will be the multiplication factor? 120% over here. Or if I am talking about the fractional value, it is 6 by 5. Okay, and then it is increased by 10%. If it is increased by 10%, multiplication factor will be 110%, or you can say 11 by 10 over here. Find the percentage increase in the overall population. So what would be the final population of 40,000 multiplied by both of the multiplication factor, that is 6 by 5 and 11 by 10. This value will get cancelled. This will become 5 8 0 0. So you are going to get your value as 48,000. Okay, multiplied by 11 over here. So you can calculate what would be the value in this case. You can apply the short trick of multiplication by 11 over here. 48 into 11, that is nothing but I think 52,800 would be the value. Are you getting it? Now what is asked in your question? They are asking you what is the overall increment over here. So let me just I think it is visible. So 52,800 is the value. Now what is asked in your question? They are asking you what is the overall increase. So you have to calculate the overall increase as 12,800. That is the increment over here divided by your original value multiplied by 100 over here. So you can cancel these zeros and calculate your value over here. So 4 3s are and 4 2s are. So 32% increase would be there compared to the original value. Okay. So many times these pattern questions have been asked based on the population. What you have to keep in mind is whether it is initial value or final value and what would be the value of a multiplication factor over there. Okay, now you can either write down your multiplication factor in percentage format or you may convert that percentage into fractional value over here. Okay, now these type of examination questions are very frequently asked in your clerical pre-exam over here. Okay, so I want all of you to read the question first. So here they have given you in an examination, student got 47% of the marks and he failed by 36 marks over here. And they have given you if passing marks are 65% of the total marks, then what is the passing marks of the examination? Okay, so this is the question. Now let us convert this value into the equation format. Now what is given? 47% of the marks he got. So 47% of M, and he has failed by 36 marks over here. So can I say that if I add these 36 marks, he will pass? Are you getting my point? He got 47% of the maximum. In this, if I am adding 36 marks over here, he will pass in the exam. Okay. Now, what is given in the next statement? If passing marks are 65% of the total marks over here. Okay. If passing marks are 65% of the total marks, so you have to calculate what is the passing marks in the examination. Okay. So, this passing marks is 65% of the total marks. So that is nothing but even this 47% is T value, total out of total over here. Now can we substitute this value in passing marks? What will you get? 47% of total plus 36 will be equal to 65% of total. So easily you can calculate the value over here. So 7 plus 8 you can calculate. This is 5 plus 1. 18% of total is equal to 36. So what would be your total marks in this case? 200 marks would be the total marks. Now what is asked in your question? They are not asking you total marks. They are asking you passing marks over here. Are you getting it? So what would be the passing marks? It is 65% of this 200, which is nothing but 130 marks would be the passing marks over here. Are you guys getting my point? So many times whenever you have questions based on the examination, please remember when student is failing by certain value, that you have to add, and when he is getting more than the passing value, that means you have to subtract that value to calculate the passing marks over here. Okay, so generally students do not understand when to add and when to subtract the value over here. So that is why I am telling you this point again. Okay, now let us discuss the next type of question, that is nothing but income, expenditure, saving based question over here. Really important question, guys, and there is the definite procedure. Only thing is students do not know this procedure, and then you would really get confused in the exam hall. Okay, so let us see how to go about this question. So here they have provided you Sukumar's expenditure and saving. These values are in the ratio 5:3 over here. If his income is increased by 12% and expenditure is increased by 15%, by how much value his savings will increase over here? Okay, so they are talking about the saving value. Now let me talk about the basic equation. Income is always given as expenditure plus savings. Okay, so whenever you are getting question based on income, expenditure, please remember this basic equation over here. Your income value is given as expenditure plus saving value over here. Now whenever you have already written this equation, please try to convert your given equation into this format. So here they have given you expenditure and savings are 5:3. So if I say expenditure is 5x, saving value would be equal to 3x. So my income value will become 8x. Are you getting it? So whenever you have these type of equation, try to convert them into this equation format. Are you getting it? Now what is given over here? Your income value is increased by 12%. So this income value is increased by 12%. If I am calculating the value over here, I am going to get my value as 8.96. Okay, so your new value will become 8.96 over here. I hope it is clear. Now they have provided you expenditure is increased by 15%. So this value is increased by 15%. That means 115% would be the multiplication factor. Are you guys getting my point? So multiplication factor would be 115%. So that would be equal to 5.75% over here. So now they are asking you how much would be the change in saving. So first you have calculated income value, then you have calculated expenditure. Based on this, we have to calculate the new saving value over here. So how will you calculate that? 8.96 minus 5.75x over here. Are you getting it? Based on this value, you will definitely be able to calculate how much would be the increase over here. Are you getting my point? So here you have calculated 3x is the saving. Now it became 3.21. So can we calculate the percentage change now? So initial value is 3x. Now it became 3.21. That means 0.21 is the increase divided by 3 into 100. So you can easily see what would be the answer in this case. So there would be 7% increase in the saving. Are you getting my point? Based on this concept, multiple times there have been questions in your exam. I hope it is clear with everyone. Now let us move on to the next part over here. That is again similar pattern question which you can try as a homework. Okay, so here is the question based on income and expenditure. Now what is said in this question? P spends 40% of his income in January over here. Okay, now as I told you, you have to convert this into a equation format. Whatever statement is given, you have to convert this into equation format over here. So how will you write this? This will be written as P is spending 40% of his income. Let me assume 100x is his income over here. How much he has spent over here? 40x. So this is his expenditure. So based on this, I can calculate the savings value, which is nothing but 60x over here. Okay, now in February, they have given income is increased by 20%. So this value is increased by 20%. So multiplication factor would be 120%, or I can say this would be 120x. Expenditure is also increased by 30%. So this value is increased by 30%. Multiplication factor would be 130%. So if you are calculating this value, it is 52x over here. So how much would be the increase in the saving? So how will you calculate the savings now? This would be 120x minus 52x. So that is nothing but you can calculate the value. 68x would be the value. Are you getting it? Now how much is the increase over here? 60x is initial savings. Now it became 68x. So there is increase of 8x over here. So what would be the percentage? 8x upon 60x into 100. So you can calculate the value over here. This is nothing but 40 by 3%, or I can see 13.33% increase over here. Are you getting it? So I think this pattern, which is nothing but income expenditure pattern, must be very much clear with you how to approach these type of questions over here. Now let us talk about the next pattern question, that is nothing but election based questions which are very frequently asked in your exam based on the election. Now for election based question, generally it is preferred that you draw a tree diagram to calculate the value, because based on tree diagram these questions will become really simple over here. Okay, now let us try one question. In election there are two candidates. Okay, winner is getting 84% and he is winning by 476 votes over here. Now they have given you two candidates. Now just for your basics, I have taken this question over here. So there are two candidates. First one is getting 84%. That means it is very much obvious the remaining 16% are going to the second candidate. Are you getting my point over here? First one is getting 84. Second one is getting 16 over here. Now by how much percentage he is winning? How will you calculate that? 84 minus 16 is the percentage by which he is winning over here. Are you getting it? So that is nothing but 68% would be the value. Are you all getting my point over here? So 68% is the increment or winning margin over here, which is equal to 476 votes. Are you getting my point? So this value is nothing but 476 votes over here. So you can calculate the value using this. So X value will be, or I can say the total votes will be equal to 700 over here. So X value is nothing but 700 over here. Are you guys getting my point? So total there must be 700 votes in this case. So this is the basic, only point you have to remember is the remaining part. Remaining part other than the winner will always go to the loser, and how you have to calculate the margin? Winner minus loser will give you the margin in this case. We will solve one more question over here so that it will become more clear to you. So what is given over here? In an election of two candidates, okay, you can try this question based on the previous concept, guys, drawing the tree diagram over here. So in an election between two candidates, 20% did not cast their vote. So total, suppose there are 100x%, 20x are not at all casting their vote. Okay, so how many of them are casting the vote? 80x over here. 12.5%. Now can anybody tell me what is 12.5% over here? Yes, it is 1 by 8. It is nothing but 1 by 8 over here. So 12.5% of the votes were declared invalid over here. Are you getting it? So out of this, 1 by 8 are invalid. That means 10x are invalid. So how many of them are remaining now? Only 70x are remaining. Now what is given? Winner gets 60% of the votes and won by 5600 over here. Now as I told you, this is 60%. So what would be remaining value? 40% over here. Are you getting it? Now by what margin he is winning over here? He is winning by 20% margin. Are you getting it? So 20% is equal to 5600 over here. So what would be the total value in this case? 5600 multiplied by 5. So what will you get from this? 0, 0, and this value is nothing but 28,000. So you are getting 28,000 out of this value. Please remember, whatever margin you have calculated, that is with respect to the node point of your tree diagram. Okay, you have just calculated this value, so go up now in this order. So this would be equal to 28,000. So what would be your X value over here? X value would be 400. So how many total voters would be there? 40,000 voters would be there. Find the number of voters in the voting list. Are you guys getting my point? So you can see here, this is how you have to draw the tree diagram for such questions when you are solving them. I hope it is perfectly clear with everyone. Okay, now let us move on to the next question. So one more question I have taken as a homework. So I want all of you to give it a try. I am just going to give you direction for this question over here. So in an election between two candidates, 78% of the voter casted their votes. So let me talk about this. 100x, 78x have casted their vote, out of which 3% were declared invalid. So out of this 3% over here, so you have to calculate 3% of this value. Are you guys getting my point? The winning candidate gets these votes, which is 62% of the valid votes over here. So we have calculated 78% of their casted the votes over here. 3% of them were invalid. So you have to calculate how many of them were invalid. This would give you remaining value. Now they have given you how many votes are obtained by a winning candidate over here. So here you have to write 62% of total x. So this is 100x over here. Are you getting my point over here? So here they have directly provided you the value, that is winning candidate is getting this value out of the total valid vote. Then what is the winning margin over here? Okay, so I want all of you to try this question over here. A really interesting question, guys. First of all, based on this 62% of total, you have to calculate the total value. Okay, so you have to calculate the total value of a votes over here. If you know the total value, you can calculate this value and how many of them are invalid. Okay, if invalid are known, definitely I can calculate valid. Out of valid, I know how much winning candidate is getting. So this value is 469092. So remaining value you can calculate based on this and calculate the margin in this case. Okay, so this is your previous year question based on the pre-exam over here. I want all of you to try it. Okay, now let us move on to the next part of a question. As I told you, in case of percentage, we can always follow the allegation diagram over here. So especially when we are discussing the questions based on the percentage, first of all, I want all of you to understand how we have to apply the allegation diagram. Okay, so when we are talking about allegation diagram, you have to write down percentage of a first component. Okay, whatever is the component over here, it can be number of boys, it can be number of girls, it can be percentage of one class, second class, likewise. Okay, so you have to write down percentage of a first component here. Here you have to write down percentage of a second component. Okay, in the middle you have to write percentage of overall class over here. Okay, and here you have to write down a quantity over here. So I can write down number of students or quantity 1 and quantity 2. Are you getting it? So for allegation diagram, guys, for allegation you have to always remember which diagram will be followed for particular topic, because many times the diagram will change, and if you apply the wrong diagram, you may end up in a wrong answer also. Okay, so this is how you have to apply it. Let us see how we are going to apply it in this particular question over here. Okay, so for example, here they have given you, there is a class of 55 students. There are 30 boys and rest are girls. So can I say that 55 minus 30, that means there are 25 girls over here? Are you guys getting it? 25 girls would be there. Now here they have given you in a class, overall percentage of the marks scored by the boys is 60%. Okay, and average overall percentage marks scored by the girls is 71% over here. Okay, so let me talk about, suppose this is boys, this is girls value over here. So how much is boys value in this case? It is 60%. How much is girls value over here? 71% over here. We have to calculate the overall value. Are you getting it? And as I told you, here we write down number of boys and here we write down number of girls. How many boys are there? 30 boys are there. And how many girls are there? 25 girls. So you can calculate the ratio 5 6 and 5 5. Are you getting my point? Now what would be your equation for the allegation? So let me write it here now. When we are talking about the allegation, we follow this pattern over here. So 71 minus x upon x minus 60 will be equal to 6 by 5. Are you guys following my point? So cross multiply, you are going to get 355 minus 5x will be equal to 6x minus 360 over here. So if you are solving this, 11x would be calculated as 715. So I can say x value is nothing but 65 over here. Are you getting my point over here? Your x value is going to be 65 in this case. I think it is visible now. Okay, so you can easily see what would be the value of x over here. Okay, I have simply written the allegation formula. Based on that allegation formula, we can easily calculate what would be the overall percentage. I hope it is clear how we are applying the allegation. So for such type of question where there is mixture of any two components, you can follow the allegation method in case of percentage over here. I hope it is clear how we have calculated the value. Now let us talk about the next type of question. So here this is a concept of a tree diagram or remaining type of a concept. Okay, again a very frequently asked type, that is remaining type over here. Now whenever you are getting these type of questions, it is better to go follow the tree diagram method. Okay, that way your calculation will become really simple. So here what they have provided you, let us draw it one by one. So here they have given you, in a library 20% of the books are in Hindi. So for example 100x is the value, 20% means 20x are in Hindi over here. 50% of the remaining, how many of them are remaining? 80x are remaining. 50% of that in English. So 50% of this means it would be 40x over here. Please remember, when they are saying 50% of remaining means first you have to calculate the remaining part over here. Okay, so how much would be the remaining value now? 80 minus 40 means 40 would be remaining. 30% of the remaining are in Urdu. So you have to calculate 30% of this remaining over here. That is nothing but 12x. Are you getting it? So this is in Urdu. So how much would be the remaining value? 28x would be the remaining value. Now rest 12,600 books are in regional language over here. So can I say this 28x is equal to 12600? Are you getting my point? So using this easily you can see what would be the value of x over here. Once the x value is known, you can easily see, I think it would be equal to 450 over here. 28 4s are 28 5s are and 0. You can just check out. So they are asking you how many total books are there over here. So once x value is known, easily we can observe what would be the value over here. What would be the value of total books. So what part I wanted to tell you over here, the important part is about the remaining books in this case. So especially when you have remaining, you can always draw a tree diagram in this manner and calculate whatever is the remaining part. So how many total books would be there? 45,000 would be your answer. I hope it is clear. So these type of question like election based question or tree diagram based questions are very frequently asked in your exam, guys. The tree diagram value will make it really simple to calculate the answer over here. Okay, we will solve one more question over here. In a village, 60% of the families have a, okay, this question is not based on that. It is based on the next concept, that is nothing but a Venn diagram concept. Okay, so whenever you are talking about a percentage, generally either tree diagram based question or allegation based question or Venn diagram based questions are frequently seen in your exam. So let us see about the Venn diagram now. Okay, so what is said over here? In a village, there are 60% of the family who has a cow, 30% of the family have buffalo, and each of the family of 15% have cow as well as buffalo over here. Okay, now I want all of you to please pay attention. First of all, you have to draw the Venn diagram over here. Okay, so these are the people who are having buffalo. These are the people who are having cows over here. Now, whenever you are drawing a Venn diagram, please remember a thumb rule over here. Always start with the intersection part over here. Okay, if you are starting with the intersection part, your calculation will really become simple. So 15% of the family have cow as well as buffalo. So this value will be 15% over here. Are you getting it? Now 60% of the families have cow. Are you getting it? 60% of them have cow. That means, can I say this total part is 60%? Now what would be this remaining part over here? 60 minus 15, that is nothing but 45% would be the value. This value would be equal to 45% over here. Okay, 30% of the family have buffalo. If this total value is 30%, then if common value is 15, means can I say this would be 13 minus 15, which is nothing but 15%. Are you guys getting my point? Okay, now here they have provided you, if 96 family are there in that village, how many of them do not have any animal? Okay, so these 15 have one animal, these 15 have both of them, and this 45 have cow. So how many are remaining now? How many would be the remaining value? Can we calculate that? So total is 100. Out of that, 15 is present here. 15 is a common value. 45 is present here. Are you getting my point? So this is 100 minus 75. So I can say 25% are not having any animal over here. So 25% of 96 would be your answer. So that is nothing but 4 2s and 4 4s are 24 families will not have any animal over here. Are you guys getting my point? So these type of Venn diagram questions are also very frequently asked in your exam over there. Okay, so you can try out few more questions based on this so that this concept will become more clear to you. So we are going to discuss few more questions which are your previous year questions over here. So here what is given in your question? Prashant gave 25% of the money to Rakesh. From the money received, Rakesh has spent 60% on the exam fees. So let me first write it one by one. Suppose 100x is the amount with Prashant over here. Okay, now what is given in your question over here? 25% he has given to Rakesh. 25% means 25x is given to Rakesh over here. Are you getting it? Now from the money received, Rakesh has spent, so they are talking about Rakesh now, 60% on the exam fees over here. So 60% he has spent on the fees. Next one, they have given 24% to buy a shoes over here. So 24% on shoes over here. Now how much money he has spent? He has spent 84% over here. Are you getting it? Now if 84% is spent, how much would be remaining over here? He must be left with 16% of the amount. Now what is given in your question? He is left with 800 rupees. That means this 16% is nothing but 800 over here. So what would be this? Suppose this is 16% of y. Okay, so what would be this y value over here? It would be equal to 500. Sorry, y value would be equal to 5000 over here. Now, as I told you, whatever you are writing over here is with respect to this part. Are you getting my point? So, this is with respect to this part. So, can I say that this y value must be this value, which is nothing but 5000 over here? Are you getting it? Now, if this is 5000, x value must be equal to, I can calculate, it is nothing but 15 2s are, you are going to get 200 as the value. Are you getting it? X value is nothing but 200. Now what is asked in your question? How much money Prashant was left with after giving share to Rakesh? Now what is the total amount with Prashant over here? 100x over here. So 200 into 100, that is nothing but 20,000 would be the amount with Prashant. After giving 25% over here, how much he will be left with? He must be left with 15,000 over here. So your answer must be equal to 15,000 in this case. I hope it is clear how we are going to solve it using the tree diagram. So many questions will follow this approach over here. Now let us talk about the next interesting question. Clerical pre-exam, this pattern question have been many times asked about the consumption over here. Okay, based on the consumption and price, these type of questions are asked in your exam. So what is asked over here? Reduction of 10% price of a mango enables man to buy 2 more mangoes for 72 rupees over here. Now I want all of you to first understand a simple concept over here before we solve this question. Now let me assume I have 100 rupees with me. Okay, and today for 20 rupees I am getting one apple. Okay, for 20 rupees I can get one apple over here. Now how many apples I can purchase with 100 rupees? I can purchase 5 apples. Are you getting it? Now suppose tomorrow what happens is this 20 rupees price is becoming 25 rupees over here, but my budget remains the same. I just have 100 rupees every day for the apple purchasing. Are you getting it? Now if this is increasing by 25 rupees, obviously now I have to purchase 4 apples. Are you getting my point? So what I want to tell you is this is nothing but the price. This is nothing but your consumption over here, and this is your total budget. Are you getting it? This is nothing but your total budget over here. Now if your total budget value is constant, if I give you this is what I have to pay over here for the total amount, if your price is increasing, obviously you have to reduce your consumption value. Are you guys getting my point? So you have to obviously reduce your consumption value in this case. So same concept is followed in this particular question over here. So what are they telling you? Reduction of 10% price of the mango enable man to purchase 2 more mangoes for 72 rupees. Suppose initial price is 100x over here. Are you getting it? Now it is reduced by 10%, so it would be equal to 90x. It would be equal to 90x. Now suppose he is consuming. So this is nothing but the price. How much is the consumption? That means how many kgs he was purchasing. Suppose he was purchasing Y apples initially. Now he can purchase 2 more apples over here because price is reduced. So you can buy more now. So this would be equal to Y plus 2. Are you getting my point? For 72 rupees, that means my budget value is constant, which is nothing but 72. So what would be your total budget now? This is the price of one mango. These are the number of mangoes that you are purchasing. So total price would be 100xy. And in this case, what would be the total price? 90x into y plus 2 over here. X value will get cancelled. You can easily calculate the value over here. So if you are calculating 10y is equal to 9y plus 18. So I can see y value is nothing but 18 over here. That means initially I was consuming 18 mangoes. Now I am consuming 20 mangoes over here. Are you getting my point? Now what is asked in your question? Before reduction, that means this original case, what was the price of mango? Are you getting it? Now for these 18, how many, this is consumption. That means how many quantity you are taking over here. So I am taking 18 mangoes in this case. What is the price of these 18 mangoes? That is nothing but 72 rupees over here. So what would be the price of one mango? It would be equal to, if I am talking about one mango, that would be equal to 4 rupees over here. Are you guys getting my point? So especially in case of a consumption based question, please remember this equation. The total price would be equal to price of individual quantity multiplied by the quantity that you are purchasing in this case. I hope it is clear with everyone. Now let us move on to the next type of question, that is nothing but a pulp based question over here. Very frequently these type of questions are asked, and if you do not know the concept, you may find it bit difficult to calculate this answer over here. Okay, so what is said over here? Fresh orange contain 90% of the water, while dried oranges contain 20% of the water by weight over here. So what is asked in your question now? What is the weight of dry oranges available from 20 kgs of a fresh orange over here? Now first of all, before we solve this question, I want all of you to understand this concept well over here. Now what is this concept? First of all, when you are drying something, okay, you have fresh oranges, you are drying them. Can anybody tell me which value will remain constant over here? Yes, which value will remain constant over here? Yes, the pulp part. There are two parts in your oranges. One is nothing but a pulp part and second one is nothing but the water. So whenever you are drying something, only this water content will go down. pulp part always remains the same. Are you guys getting my point? The pulp part always remains the same over here. So here they have given you fresh orange contain 90% water. That means how much would be the pulp? 10% would be the pulp over here. Okay, and dried oranges contain 20% water. That means 80% pulp would be there. As I told you, what is the concept over here? Here you have to take pulp in the fresh oranges must be equal to pulp in the dried oranges over here. Are you getting my point? This must be equal to pulp in the dried oranges over here. Now, how much is the pulp in the fresh oranges? You know that it is nothing but 10% pulp over here. Are you getting it? 10%. How many kgs of fresh oranges are there? 20 kgs of fresh oranges are there. This is equal to, you know that how much is the quantity in the dried orange? 80% is the pulp. Okay, always you have to write the pulp value itself. I have to calculate how many kgs I will get over here. Are you getting it? So this will become 10 8s. So you can calculate your value as 8 2s are 16 and 5. So 2.5 kgs, that is nothing but none of these would be the answer. Are you guys getting my point? So especially when you have these pulp type of question, please remember you have to always follow the concept as the total weight of the dried oranges would be equal to your pulp, the pulp quantity in your dried and the original will always remain the same is the concept used over here. I hope it is perfectly clear. Okay, now let us solve few interesting questions which are having some new concepts over here. So this is the first question. Before you are attempting this question, I want all of you to read this question thoroughly and then we will solve this together. Okay, so clerical mains level question is written on your screen. So how will you go about this? So Vikas appeared in an exam of 5 subjects over here. All of them are having equal maximum marks. Okay, this part is very important. They are talking that all the 5 subjects are having equal maximum marks over here. Now Vikas got marks in 5 subjects in the ratio 9:5:7:5:4. So if I am talking about the marks, suppose this is 9x, 5x, 7x, 5x and 4x over here. Now what is said over here? 40 marks is a passing marks criteria in each of the individual subject, which is 8% of total maximum marks over here. Are you getting it? So 40 marks is the marks, which is nothing but 8% of total maximum marks. Are you getting it? Total maximum marks he can get in all the subject over here. So total maximum marks in all the subject. Are you getting it? So if I am calculating the total maximum marks over here, what would be the value? 500 would be the value in all the 5 subjects. Are you getting it? Total in all the 5 subjects over here. Everybody is getting it? So 5 subjects. Now as it is provided, each one of them is having equal maximum marks. What is said in your question? Each one of them is having equal marks over here. So can I say each subject must be 500 by 5, or I can say 100 marks over here. Are you getting my point? Each subject must be having 500 upon 5 or 100 marks over here. Now next part is very important. They have said you here, if he had passed in all the subject over here. So he is passing in all the subject. Now they are saying scored just a passing marks in only one subject over here. So only in one subject he could get a passing marks over here. Now if you know all the values ratio, okay, we know how much score he is getting in all the subject. In one of the subject he is just passing over here. That means can I say that the minimum value must be passing marks? Are you getting my point? So minimum value must be passing marks. Now what is the passing marks over here? 40 marks. That means this value is equal to 40. If this value is equal to 40, x value is 10. So this would be 90, this would be 50, 70 and 50 over here. Are you guys getting my point? So all the values will be multiplied by 10 in this case. I think it is clear. Now what is asked in your question? Then find the aggregate percentage over here. So you have to calculate how much will be his percentage in this case. So how will you calculate the percentage? Just add all the values over here. Whatever is his score, just add all the values. So what will you get from this? This is 100. 100 plus this is 160, 260 plus 440, that is nothing but 300. How much is the total score? 500 over here. You have to calculate the percentage. So multiply this by 100. So what will you get from this? 60% would be his score. Are you getting it? So aggregate percentage would be equal to 60% would be the answer. Are you guys getting it? So based on the same concept, we are doing the calculation over here. I think it is perfectly clear with everyone. Is there anyone having any doubt? You can ask me. Yes, is there anyone having any doubt? I think it is perfectly clear how we are going to calculate this aggregate percentage over here. Now let us solve one more question, interesting question, mains level question over here based on the same percentage concept and whatever basics you have learnt over here. So how will you do this? A family has a 4 members over here, A, B, C, D. Each one of them is contributing to the family's income. Okay, so each one of them is contributing to the family's income over here. A's contribution is 30% of the total income. So they have given A's per value is 30% of T. B contribute 10% of the total. So B is nothing but 10% of T. C is contributing 20% of the total. So C is nothing but 20% of T. And contribution of A is increased by 30%. It is increased by 30%. That is nothing but 130% or 1.3 over here. If you are calculating the value, it will become 39% of T. Okay, contribution of B is decreased by 20%. B, it is decreased by 20% over here. That means multiplication factor would be 80% in this case. Are you getting it? If you are calculating this value, that is nothing but 8% T would be the value. Okay. And contribution of D is reduced by 30%. Now, first of all, we need to calculate how much is the contribution of D over here. How will you calculate that? Now, remaining value is already known to you. 30 plus 10, 40 plus 20, 60 over here. So, how much would be the remaining value? 100 minus 60%. That is nothing but 40% of T. Are you getting it? That is nothing but 40% of T. Now they have given the contribution of D is reduced by 30%. So this value is reduced by 30%. Multiplication factor would be 70% over here. So what will you get in this case? 0.7 into 40, that is nothing but 28% of T. And overall family income is increased by 10%. So how much is the overall income? 100% of T is the overall income. Are you getting it? This value is increased by 10%. That is nothing but 110% T would be the value. So what is asked in your question? Calculate the percentage increase in the contribution of C over here. So now we are going back. How will you calculate C's value now? 110 is the total. Subtract remaining values over here. So 39 minus 8 minus 28. That is what would be new value corresponding to C in this case. Are you guys getting my point? So if you are calculating this value over here, I think it is equal to 35%. If you are calculating this percentage, it is nothing but 35% of T in this case. Now what is asked in your question over here? What is the percentage increase in the contribution of C over here? Now we have C's value. So can we calculate how much is the percentage increase now? Initial value was 20%. Now it became 35% over here. So easily we can see how much is the increase over here. Okay, so you can see the increase is 15 divided by original value is 10. So 15 divided by 20 into 100, that is nothing but 75% increase would be there. I hope everybody is following it. So how much would be the increase over here? We can just write down the value over here. That is nothing but 15 upon 20 into 100, or I can say 75% increase would be there. I hope it is clear. Okay, perfect one. Now we will solve last question based on income expenditure saving. Again a mains level question over here. Okay, so what is given in your question? A, B, C together are earning this value over here. That means this is the value corresponding to total income. Okay, now they are spending 60%, 65% and 75% of their salaries, and their savings are given over here. Now this part is very important. This is the saving part if this is expenditure value. Okay, I want all of you to understand this. Now savings value is 14x, 21x and 15x over here. Okay, now if this is the expenditure value, expenditure is 60%, that means 40% of A would be the saving. Do you agree with this? If 60% is this expenditure, 40% would be the saving over here. So how will you calculate this value? Easily you can calculate the value over here. A value would be equal to 35x. Are you getting my point? A's income would be equal to 35x. Similarly, B's expenditure is 65%. So how much would be the saving? 35% would be the saving. So I can say 35% of B is equal to 21x over here. Are you guys getting my point? So how will you get this value over here? B value is nothing but 60x in this case. If you are calculating this, B value would be equal to 60x over here. And 70% is the expenditure. So 30% would be the saving. So can I say 30% of C is equal to 15x? So C value would be equal to 50x over here. Are you getting my point? So I have individually calculated what would be the income of A, B, C over here. Now your question also says that the total earning is 1450. Are you getting it? Total earning is 1550. So can I say A plus B plus C value is 1450? Easily I can calculate the value corresponding to x over here. So what will you get? 5 would be the value. Add the remaining value. 6 plus 5, 11 plus 3, 4 over here. 145x is equal to 1450. X value is nothing but 10 over here. So what are they asking you? What is the salary of B? So what is the salary of B over here? 600 would be the salary. So I just wanted to tell you that income expenditure concept which I had told you, same concept is used here as well. Okay, so that is what I have for today, guys. And yes, one more question is there. Yes, again a mains level question. Let us discuss this question and conclude the session over here. So I want all of you to read this question. It is interesting question based on a tree diagram over here. So this concept is based on the tree diagram. There are two types of employees in Sun Metals over here. So there is a company called Sun Metals. There are two types of employee. One is a graduates, okay, and second one is nothing but a engineers. Now what is said in your question? 40% of the employee of Sun Metals are general graduates over here. So 40x are graduates out of 100x. Okay, so how many of them will be engineers? 60x would be the engineers. Okay, now what else is given? 75% of the engineer earn more than 5 lakh. So here let me write down less than 5 lakh and more than 5 lakh. Similarly, here also you will have less than 5 lakh and more than 5 lakh. So what is said in your question? 75% of the engineers earn more than 5 lakh over here. So they are earning more than 5 lakh. What would be the 75% of this value? It is nothing but 45x. So they are earning more than 5 lakh. Can you tell me how much would be the lesser value now? 60x is the total. Out of that you have written 45 here. So this will become 15x over here. Are you guys getting my point? Now one more point is given. 50% of organization's employee earn more than 5 lakh over here. So out of the total employee, they have again given you more and less value. So what they have given? More than 5 lakh is 50% over here. 50% means 50x are earning more. 50x are earning less over here. Are you getting my point? Now I know that less people, less earning is 15x. So what would be less value over here? Can you tell me? So total less value, less than 5 lakh is 50x. Out of that, this is 15x. That means this value has to be 50 minus 15, or I can say 35x over here. This value has to be 50 minus 15, that is nothing but 35x. Now if this value is 35x, obviously this more value is going to be 5x over here because it is total 40x. Are you getting my point? Now what is asked in your question? What proportion of the general graduates, how many general graduates are there? 40x. Are you getting it? Are earning 5 lakh or less over here. How many of them are earning 5 lakh or less over here? So they are asking you what proportion of general graduates are earning 5 lakh or less. So how many of them are earning less now? 35x over here. So what would be your answer? Your answer would be 7 by 8. That is nothing but none of these over here. Are you guys getting it? So based on the tree diagram, okay, so here original value is split into two parts. Similarly, your given values are also split into two parts. So whatever splitting is done, that is always shown using a tree diagram over here, and that way your calculation really becomes simple over here. Okay, so that is what I have for today, guys. Hope all of you must have enjoyed this. We have taken all the concept right from the percentage meaning till multiplication factor, then percentage to fraction, all the terminologies that are used in this particular topic. Then we have also discussed different types of questions based on income, expenditure, election based question. Okay, then you have consumption based questions over here, and also the tree diagram and Venn diagram based questions as well. And at the end, I had discussed few mains level questions in this. So hope all of you must have enjoyed this session. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Stay tuned with Oliveboard.